The amusement park was a world of dazzling lights, laughter, and endless energy. I arrived early in the morning when the gates opened, determined to spend a full 24 hours inside, exploring every ride, every corner, and every hidden joy it had to offer. The air smelled of popcorn, cotton candy, and fried treats, and the sound of cheerful music echoed across the park, blending with the screams of excitement from the roller coasters. At first, my excitement felt unstoppable. I rushed toward the tallest roller coaster, a twisting steel giant that towered above everything else. My heart raced as I climbed into the seat. The safety bar locked over me, and the cart clattered slowly upward. When it plunged down at breakneck speed, my stomach dropped, and I screamed louder than I thought possible. It was terrifying, but the thrill was addictive. I got off laughing and shaking, ready to try everything else. Next came the spinning rides. I stepped into a machine that twirled me around until the world became a blur of colors. It was dizzying but exhilarating. I stumbled out, laughed at my wobbly legs, and bought a snow cone to cool off. As the sun rose higher, families filled the park. Children squealed with joy, and parents held balloons while snapping pictures. The whole place felt like a city of happiness built for fun. By afternoon, I discovered the water rides. I boarded a log flume with strangers who quickly became companions in laughter. We screamed as the log plunged down a steep slope, sending a huge splash of water over us. My clothes were soaked, but I did not care. The refreshing coolness was worth it. Then I found a lazy river ride, floating peacefully while the sun warmed my face. It was a moment of calm in a day full of action. Food was another adventure. I devoured giant turkey legs, greasy French fries, sweet cotton candy, and funnel cakes sprinkled with powdered sugar. Each bite added to the magic, even though my stomach begged me to slow down. Still, how could I resist when the park was filled with tempting aromas around every corner? As night fell, the park transformed. Neon lights lit up the pathways, and the rides glowed like glowing jewels against the dark sky. A parade of dancers, floats, and costumed characters marched through, filling the air with music and fireworks. I felt like I had stepped into a dream. I clapped along, my energy renewed, and let the rhythm carry me forward. The midnight hours were the hardest. My body grew tired, and the rides seemed quieter as the crowd thinned. But I pushed on, determined to last the full 24 hours. I found myself on the Ferris wheel at 3 in the morning, sitting high above the park, looking down at the glowing rides and sleeping city beyond. The view was breathtaking and strangely peaceful, a moment of reflection before I plunged back into excitement. In the last hours, exhaustion mixed with triumph. I had gone on nearly every ride, eaten every treat I could handle, and lived through an entire day and night of amusement park wonder. As dawn returned, I sat on a bench watching the gates prepare to open once again for new visitors. My body was drained, but my heart was full. Spending 24 hours in an amusement park was more than just fun. It was an unforgettable journey of joy, thrill, laughter, and discovery. The park was not just a place of rides and games. It was a world where time seemed to pause, where happiness became endless, and where I learned that even exhaustion can feel beautiful when filled with so much life. The longer I stayed, the more the amusement park began to feel like a living creature. Its heartbeat was the rhythm of the rides. Its laughter came from the visitors, and its glowing lights were like stars guiding me deeper into its magical world. After my early morning thrill on the roller coaster, I decided to test the quieter corners of the park. I found myself wandering into a funhouse filled with mirrors. At first, it seemed simple, just reflections of myself, but then the mirrors stretched me taller, squeezed me thinner, and turned my body into impossible shapes. I laughed at my distorted reflections, and a group of kids nearby laughed along with me, pointing at their own funny shapes. It was silly, but it reminded me that sometimes the smallest joys are the most powerful. From there, I discovered the haunted house ride. The gates creaked open, and I boarded a dark little cart. As it moved slowly forward, skeletons lunged from the shadows. Ghosts floated through the air, and sudden bursts of sound made my heart jump. Even though I knew it was fake, my imagination painted it as real, and I could not stop gripping the safety bar. When the cart finally rolled back into daylight, I laughed in relief, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. By noon, the crowds thickened and the energy of the park soared. I joined games along the midway, trying to win prizes by tossing rings and shooting water at targets. My aim was clumsy at first, but after several tries, I managed to knock down a row of bottles and earned a giant stuffed bear. Carrying it around made me feel like a kid again, and strangers smiled at me as if we were all sharing the same unspoken language of fun. As the afternoon sun beat down, I found shade under a carousel. I climbed onto a white horse decorated with golden ribbons, and as the ride turned in slow circles, music played from an old calliope. It felt timeless, almost like stepping into a dream from childhood. The world outside the carousel blurred, but inside, everything was calm and beautiful. The water rides returned to me once more as the heat grew stronger. I discovered a wave pool where artificial tides rolled in, lifting and dropping me like the ocean itself. Children shrieked with joy as they leaped into the waves, and parents floated lazily with smiles on their faces. I joined in, splashing, laughing, and forgetting everything beyond the walls of the park. Evening brought a second wind of adventure. I returned to the roller coasters. Braving ones I had skipped earlier, the wooden one that rattled and shook like it would fall apart at any moment, and the inverted coaster that hung me upside down as it twisted through the air. Each ride added to the growing tapestry of memories. My throat was sore from screaming, but every scream carried joy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the park revealed its most magical form. Lights blinked on one by one until the entire place glowed like a carnival of stars. Lanterns lined the walkways, rides shined in neon brilliance, and even the food stands sparkled with color. Music from the central stage echoed across the park as dancers and performers entertained a cheering crowd. I watched, captivated, as a fire juggler tossed flames into the air and caught them as though the fire was an obedient pet. Then came the firework. They exploded above in showers of gold, red, and blue, lighting up the sky with thunderous sound. The crowd gasped, cheered, and clapped, and I felt tears prick my eyes, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming beauty of being alive in that moment. It was as if the entire sky had joined the celebration. But the night was not over. Midnight crept closer, and while some families began to leave, I pressed on, determined to survive the full 24 hours. The park grew quieter, but it was not empty. A different kind of magic emerged in those late hours. Couples strolled hand in hand beneath glowing lamps. Small groups of friends laughed softly as they shared snacks. And the rides ran with shorter lines, allowing me to ride again and again without waiting. The Ferris wheel became my sanctuary. Rising high above, I looked down at the nearly sleeping park. From above, the rides looked like tiny toys, the people like fireflies moving along glowing paths. A cool breeze brushed my face, and for a moment, I felt like the world was mine alone. At 3 in the morning, my body begged for rest. My legs ached, my eyes grew heavy, but I refused to surrender. I found a quiet bench near a fountain, closed my eyes for just a few minutes, and listened to the soft splash of water. When I opened them again, the park still shimmered with life, and I felt ready to continue. The final hours passed like a dream. I rode the gentle teacups, spun slowly under the twinkling lights, and whispered to myself that I had done it. As dawn painted the horizon with soft pinks and gold, the park prepared to welcome a new day of visitors. I was still there, sitting with my giant stuffed bear, exhausted but glowing with triumph. Spending 24 hours in an amusement park was not only about the rides and food, it was about the transformation. It taught me that joy is endless when we choose to embrace it, that wonder can live in every corner if we allow ourselves to see it, and that sometimes the simplest goals staying for a decon become an adventure that changes us forever.